All right, welcome. Today, we're diving into a topic that's, a super important part of any great relationship, but we just don't talk about it enough: mutual satisfaction. We're going to explore the art and the science of female pleasure in a way that's clear, direct, and actually helpful.
So, does this sound familiar at all? You're putting in the work, you feel like you're doing everything you're supposed to, but you just get this feeling that your partner isn't quite there with you, then maybe she's left wanting more. It's a really common anxiety for a lot of guys. But here's the good news: it's a problem that is totally fixable, usually by just clearing up a few simple misunderstandings.
Okay, so first things first. Let's figure out why things go wrong in the first place. Because to find the right solution, you've got to know what the real problem is. So why does this disconnect happen so often, even when you both have the best of intentions? Here's a scene that probably sounds familiar. You're focused, you're giving it your all, but instead of seeing that connection and pleasure, you kind of sense this distance. It feels more like friction than intimacy, almost like you're just going through the motions. Look, this isn't because you're not trying hard enough. It's because you might not have the right playbook. And that brings us to, honestly, a huge myth. This is really the heart of the problem for so many guys. It's this one single idea that a lot of us pick up from porn that completely misrepresents what actually feels good for women. So you see it in porn all the time, right? This idea that faster and deeper is always better. But in reality, for most women, it's the exact opposite. That approach isn't just not fun, it can actually hurt. It creates painful friction instead of pleasure, and it completely misses the point of what sex is all about.
All right, so to bust that myth for good, we've got to get into the actual science of how arousal works, because men's and women's bodies are wired differently, and just knowing the biological basics is the first step to making a huge positive change.
Here's a really simple way to think about it. A woman's body is like an engine that really needs time to warm up. Guys can often get aroused and ready to go in, a matter of seconds. But if you rush straight into intercourse before she's ready, her body hasn't had time to produce its own natural lubrication. This can make the whole experience really uncomfortable or even painful, turning what should be amazing into a total chore.
And that right there, that's why foreplay is not some optional extra. It is essential. And we're not just talking about a quick kiss here. We're talking about taking the time to explore sensitive spots like her neck, her ears, and most importantly, building that arousal up so her body is physically ready and excited for what's next.
Now, the command center for all of this arousal? It's the clitoris. This small external bit of tissue right above the vaginal opening is, simply put, ground zero for female pleasure. Its only job in the human body is pleasure, so stimulating it is absolutely non-negotiable. And get ready for this number: 8,000. That's how many nerve endings are packed into the clitoris. To give you some perspective, that's more than double the number in the head of a man's penis. So what does that tell you? Ignoring it is like trying to start a fire without a match. It's just not going to work.
Okay, so she's fully warmed up. She's ready to go. What's the move now? Well, it's not about random motion. It's about a specific rhythm, a technique that's designed to maximize sensation right where it counts the most. Now, here's something that blows a lot of people's minds. Contrary to what you might think, the vagina isn't equally sensitive all the way through. Not even close. The vast majority of the pleasure-giving nerve endings are packed right near the entrance, in just the first 1 to 2 inches. Deeper in, there's way less sensation. Just knowing this one fact should completely change your entire approach. So this leads us to a super effective technique. Instead of that constant, deep thrusting, you adopt a rhythm. You start slow, focusing on stimulating that really sensitive opening with shallow movements. Then you build a pattern: 3 shallow thrusts followed by 1 nice, deliberate, deep one. This rhythm builds anticipation and suspense, and it makes the whole thing way more intense and pleasurable for her.
All right, we've talked about rhythm, we've talked about external stimulation. Now let's go a little deeper. There's an internal spot that can unlock a whole different level of pleasure, but it's one that a lot of people just don't know much about.
You've probably heard of it. It's called the G-spot. And what it is this specific area of spongy tissue inside the vagina that when you stimulate it in just the right way, wow, it can lead to this incredibly powerful and deep kind of orgasm.
Yeah, I know you're thinking, okay, great, but where the heck is it?
It can feel like you're looking for a secret treasure, but it's actually in a really specific, findable location. Let's map it out. It's located only about 1 to 2 inches inside the vagina, on the upper wall, so the side that's towards her stomach. If you were exploring with your finger, you're feeling for a patch of tissue that feels a little different, kind of rough or spongy. Think of the texture of a walnut. The easiest way to find it is to use that come here motion right against that front wall.
Okay, so how do you hit this spot during sex? Because just going straight in and out usually misses it completely. The secret is all about the angle, and the fix is super simple. Technique 1, put a pillow under her hips. That tilts everything up. Technique 2, have her rest her legs up on your shoulders. Both of these simple tricks change the angle of your thrust from straight in to a lower to upper motion, allowing you to make direct contact with the G-spot on every stroke.
But listen, even if you master all these physical techniques, great intimacy, it's never just about the mechanics. The emotional and mental side is just as important, maybe even more so.
You've got to remember, her head has to be in the game too. If she's stressed about work or just exhausted, her desire is going to be low. And this is where communication is absolutely everything. You have to talk. Compliment her. Ask her what feels good. When you show her that her pleasure is what you care about most, that's a huge turn on. And you know what's cool? When you focus on her orgasm first, a lot of the pressure you might feel about your own performance just kind of disappears. There's this quote from our source material by Dr. Pooja that just sums it all up perfectly. She says, "The vagina is not a place to hammer. It is an artist's canvas." I mean, how perfect is that? It's about artistry and connection, not construction. So what's the big takeaway from all this? What's the one thing to remember? It's that every single person is unique. These techniques, they're an awesome place to start, but they are not a replacement for just paying attention and talking to each other. The real secret is to listen to your partner, to learn her body, and to treat your intimate life like a fun adventure you're on together. And honestly, what's better than that?